be that, because to be dynamic in marketing is one thing, but to be dynamic in science is very tricky.
The rhythm is not
is
the same.
different.
It's not only that we use mass sequencing to measure RNA, but now we've incorporated more omics. That's why we can say, as today, we have a multi-omic approach to our products.
What I really like about the reconstructed skin models is that we can adjust the model to our needs. We test some supplements to reconstruct the skin without any products from animals. And we have pretty interesting results. And I think really it's a huge step into innovation.
Welcome to Provitalks 2.0, a new season of Provitalks where the complete value chain process of a natural ingredient will be unraveled through Provital's expertise. Get ready for a journey where innovation and authenticity intertwine to inspire you.
Welcome everyone to a new episode of Provitalks 2.0. Today, we will advance a little bit on this journey of cosmetic development because we will move from the sourcing part to the testing part, to the science behind the development of a cosmetic active. And for that, we have two very special guests straight out of the In Vitro Laboratory, our In Vitro Lab Manager, Dr. Miguel Aso, who you may already know from two previous episodes in the first season of Provitalks, and our amazing pre-doctoral researcher, Julia Bajsert.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, guys, and thank you very much for being here with us. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing, to be honest. And I also feel honored to be here and to have this conversation with you. And I have to admit, I'm a bit stressed, but I hope everything will go smooth.
And what about you, Miguel?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I feel this is a great idea because sometimes I feel that we are in the lab, in our world, and this is a way for us to kind of explain to everybody what we do. It's great.
That's a good opportunity. And for us, it's quite strange to see you without the lab coat, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I have to say, it's very exciting to have you both here. I'm sure we'll have a very interesting conversation today. Different one, right?
More technical, maybe.
A little bit more technical, for sure. But I think it's a very good example on how Provital converts nature into science. But first, I think the audience would like to know a little bit more about you. So I think the best way is that you can introduce yourselves. So,
yeah.
Julia.
So my journey with Provital starts around 6 years ago. At that time, I was a student in Poland at Poznań University of Medical Sciences. I was studying laboratory medicine, and I came to Provital by Erasmus Plus program to do the internship in a quality control department. So it was the first time when I had a chance to work with Provital ingredients. And I have to say that I really enjoyed that journey because I was also a person that I'm really interested into cosmetics, but I was as well into science. Okay. So it was a great combination of these two things. And I have to say that also the atmosphere in the lab was really encouraging, and the people were really nice. So I really enjoyed it. And after 2 months of my internship in a quality control department, I spoke to a former R&D manager, and I received an offer to come back in the next year and to do the internship in an in vitro laboratory in R&D department. Yeah. So the next year I came back, but just for 1 month because I wasn't able to combine everything.
That's a short Erasmus.
Yeah, short Erasmus, exactly. So. And I came back, and at that time I was doing the internship with Miguel, and this is how I met Miguel. So during this 1 month, I would say it was quite intense period, but I was really inspired by the science, and it was the first time that I had a chance to work with the cell culture in an in vitro laboratory, and I also have to say that I really enjoyed my internship with Miguel. And he was the person who inspired me yeah, I didn't say that, but after my internship, when I finished that, after 1 month, Miguel proposed me to do the industrial PhD. And it was the combination, it is a combination between the university and the company. So, and I immediately agreed because I knew that what was important for me, that I also will be mentored by the person who I know and I trust. So, and this is really important when you do the PhD. So this is how it happened. In 2021, I came back to Barcelona. I arranged everything, my flat and everything.
Yeah.
It was quite challenging.
Now it was not just for 2 months.
Exactly.
It was more permanent.
Exactly. But everything went smoothly. So in 2021, I started my industrial PhD. And Miguel is my supervisor on the hand of the Provital, and I also have another one on the hand of the University of Barcelona, Autonomous University of Barcelona, in the Department of Pharmacology. And this is how it started, a little bit of my story. And yes.
Well, not bad.
Very nice, thank you. And
What about you?
Now my turn. So I've been working at Provital exactly now for 10 years.
Congratulations. Then.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a journey, really. And before Provital, I was deeply invested in basic research at the academia. So I got, 15, 20 years ago, my PhD in pharmacology in the University of Valencia. Then I got a position on the New York University of Translational Medicine. And over there, I was studying the intracellular mechanisms that govern the collagen synthesis in dermal fibroblasts, and I got deep into scarring dermal pathologies, such as scarring due to different pathologies. Mm-hmm. But in the end, I was, without knowing it, I was kind of profiling my curriculum vitae for a fit for the cosmetic industry. I didn't know that. But in the USA, they do one thing that I think something we don't do in Spain, and I kind of like it, that the private companies go to the universities and teach and train PhD doctorates, PhD students, postdocs. They show how to transition from the academia to the private sector. And then I realized I kind of wanted that. And then I knew Provital. And then we got in touch and we started conversations. I think both sides agreed that it would be a good idea to start a new in vitro lab. That was 10 years ago. And that's how it started. And I was by myself in the beginning, and then
I think you started the in vitro lab in Provital.
Yeah.
I mean, you designed the facility. And
it
everything,
was.
So.
I really felt lucky and honored because it's a privilege to build a lab as you want it to be. I mean, the drawers in this side and not in that little side. I'm kind of picky on that.
It's
stuff.
your lab.
Yeah. So it was kind of a luxury. Yeah. And one day, Julia came, and it was only for a month, but I instantly saw that there was a hidden jewel because you have to be. She was pretty interested, and she really liked it, and she saw a great potential to make a huge effort to work and to like the lab work. And I talked to the R&D department. I talked to up the ladder in Provital, because Provital likes science at its core. Why not? We can have a PhD. Industrial PhD with somebody so interested in science. I mean, you have to do something about that.
Yeah.
And we proposed Julia to join the lab and to have a PhD project, which I believe she will explain later, about one particular
Of course.
model
Of
that.
course you will. We have some questions. And that's funny because now that Julia is almost finishing her PhD, we will open a new industrial PhD very
Yeah.
soon.
Yes,
So
yes.
I think that we like the work you did.
I'm
So.
really happy about that as well.
And another funny story is that I also spent 1 month in the summer with Miguel in the lab.
Also in vitro.
Yeah, I was in the In Vitro Lab because I was in my second grade in the university, and in the summer I had nothing to do.
Yeah.
So I went to Provital, and I was in quality control as well, and also combining with the In Vitro Lab. But I think that
You can still join the In Vitro Lab. It's never too late.
I think I lacked that passion as Julia because I wasn't offered the PhD. I'm kidding. But yeah, it's true.
Yeah, no, you definitely had a match in here because in these last years we've been advancing a lot in the field that you were going to explain about. Yes.
I mean, she's doing extremely good work, I believe.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I mean, in the whole laboratory, right? Because we previously discussed in our previous Provital, how these the most cutting-edge techniques in cosmetic research and specifically the use of bioinformatic tools are the way to go when it comes to cosmetic development. And we talked about what Provital was doing in that regard, and it was already very advanced. But I would like you to explain a little bit about what is Provital doing right now, because, well, science changes very rapidly, and I don't know, are we still in the fourth industrial revolution anymore? Are we in the big data era still, or what's changing? What's here?
So last time we spoke about transcriptomics and sequencing, and that was 2 years ago, something like
Yes.
that. And as today, that is something we are doing routinely. I mean, that is something we've moved from PCR, which is the classic way of measuring transcripts.
Yeah.
And now we run RNA-seq, which is whole transcriptome analysis.
Yeah.
And that is something we run for most of our projects. So that is something we have established because it is way powerful.
It's nothing new anymore. I mean, it's internalized.
I believe that it is not that common in other companies. I mean, we are honored to say that we actually run RNA-seq on a regular basis. And that is something we can be proud of, I believe. So in that way, we can measure anything, and we don't have to choose what to look to.
Exactly.
But it's not only that we use mass sequencing to measure RNA, but now we've incorporated more omics. It's the easy one is transcriptomics, but now we also do proteomics, lipidomics, and microbiome. And that's why we can say, as today, we have a multi-omic approach to our products. Yeah.
Super interesting. Yeah, I think I kind of know that word from the last product that we
Sounds familiar, right?
Sounds kind of familiar, the
Yeah.
multi-omic approach. Yes.
Yes.
But what else? Where is science advancing now? What would you say is going to?
So there are many different branches at once. I can't really tell you right now, but within Julia's thesis, we are developing a top-notch, cutting-edge new technique, which is transcriptomics, but we don't focus on what we are measuring, but the sample. Usually you believe you can use cell cultures, or you can use skin explants, something like that. I cannot talk more because that would be a spoiler for a paper, and that I can do that, but it's something I believe nobody in the cosmetic industry has done before, and very little is run on the academia. In fact, I only know 2 research groups, and we are in collaboration with the Irvine University of California, which is one of them. And we are really hoping this pans out to be something that could be shown sooner than later. But yeah, that's the new thing.
Okay, but apart from that, if we're being a bit more generic, for example, the new technologies that are appearing, how are they? How do they apply to the laboratory?
So, for example, I believe everybody knows about ChatGPT and generative AI. It's called LLM, large language models, and it's a big hype about it. And nobody really knows how huge will be the impact on everything. But in the industry, for example, this month in the Dermatology Journal of Reference for Investigative Dermatology, the GID, has published a paper talking specifically about the impact of LLM models on dermatology. And they have one big problem, I still believe, is that because they are generative, they hallucinate. So at the beginning, it's the term. It's not something I made up. I don't hallucinate yet. and the thing is, I was trying when first ChatGPT launched. I was trying it. So I was doing a research I usually do, which is, this is a new mechanism. I want to better understand it. So you go to PubMed, which is basically the Google for scientific research, and you look for it. Well, I asked myself, I can ask ChatGPT, and I asked him, and he told me, oh yeah, you can, that this pathway goes this way. Oh, I didn't know that. And how do you know that? Because I know PubMed. Oh, okay, can you specifically tell me the reference? No problem. And 5 links, 6 links. Oh, this is fantastic. I was so happy. I mean, that's a big load of work. And I just clicked some of them, had nothing to do. I mean, it was talking about quantum mechanics, stuff like that. I don't understand. So it basically made up new molecular pathways that didn't exist. So something you cannot trust.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Probably very soon this will evolve,
Yeah.
and it will be more reliable.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that it's not ready yet.
Yeah. I use it a lot for changing the tone of an email, or for programming languages. That's something very powerful. That helps you a lot. So for the bioinformatic part, that's a huge step forward.
Yeah.
But for the molecular mechanisms, we have to wait. Yeah.
It still hallucinates. I thought you were going to say that it dreams and tells you something that is very creative, but not so much fun.
For poesy and arts, I think it's fantastic. But yeah, hallucinating for science, yeah, that's
maybe not that
something
good.
to be, yeah.
And you in the lab, in the In Vitro Lab, what are you specifically doing right now regarding the skin technology?
So yeah, maybe I will introduce into my PhD thesis. So the subject is to study and to reconstruct new skin models, reconstructed human skin models. So basically I can say a little bit how we do that, because it maybe for some of you it doesn't sound familiar. No, so basically we performed a lot of studies on 2D cell culture. So on the keratinocytes or melanocytes in a monoculture. And now,
Julia, question here.
Yes.
What's a 2D? What's a 2D skin model?
2D skin model is a monolayer. So, and we perform the assays just on the melanocytes or just on the keratinocytes. And now, within the reconstructed skin model, we can combine the few types of skin cells, and we reconstruct 3-dimensional reconstructed skin model that mimics our human skin. So basically, it's a higher level, if I can say that, compared to monolayers. So basically, my thesis is about developing the new skin models, and now we develop in our laboratory the reconstructed human skin, the reconstructed human epidermis, which is composed of keratinocytes, which are the major types of the cells in our skin. We work a lot also on a reconstructed human pigmented epidermis. So this model combines the melanocytes and keratinocytes and allows us to study the pigmentations, for example, in our skin. And as well, we are working with the full thickness skin, which is the epidermis and as well dermis.
You add another layer.
Another layer, yeah. So in the dermis is mainly composed of the fibroblast, and this allows us to study, for example, collagen or skin aging or kind of these assays.
So in order to understand a little bit more, how do you reach to develop this full thickness? I mean, you start with just a layer, and then you make it grow until you reach the epidermis, or how do you perform this assay?
Yeah, for example, the full thickness. So we basically in the beginning we started with the dermis. So we culture the fibroblast in laboratory conditions, and we let it grow for several weeks even. And then we add the keratinocytes on top. So this is the way how we have the dermis and the epidermis. And it's really mimics our human skin. So when you compare the histological pictures, we can compare it to our skin. So it's I'm a bit amazed by that you can create this in our lab. So we take some cells and we create the skin. It's pretty amazing for me. Yeah.
It is amazing.
It is.
Yeah, there is the huge advantage of these models that on the one hand, it's in vitro, because it's cells you culture as well as you can do on monolayers, but they grow in a way that they start to differentiate, and when you look them up under the microscope, it's very difficult to tell the difference between the microscopic image of a regular skin from a human.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's in vitro, and you can run some techniques which you can only run on patients. Basically, histology. So you can stain for different proteins or run different techniques that usually were only possible with humans, not in vitro. So we have both worlds.
And can you explain, like, here for mortals exactly what these tests can be? Like for what can we use them in cosmetics for our cosmetic actives development?
So yeah, what is pretty interesting, we can, for example, study the skin barrier. So performing some tests, we can check if the product is helping to maintain or even help to be stronger, the barrier.
The barrier function.
The barrier function, exactly. We can perform the immunofluorescence, and we can, as Miguel say, we can stain some proteins which are responsible for the skin barrier, the permeability of the skin barrier. This is quite interesting. As I said, we can also study the pigmentation. And now we have we hear a lot of the problems with the sun, some marks on the skin, and also aging spots. So we can study this through the reconstructed pigmented epidermis. To be honest, what I really like about the reconstructed skin models that we can adjust the model to our needs. If we want to study. For example, there are many opportunities in a skin model, so we can adjust if we want to study even the microbiome. Sometimes it could be possible as well. So now we don't do that in our lab, but maybe in the future, there are a lot of possibilities.
So what will be the difference that we can do it in our own in vitro lab, but it's also possible to do it, for example, with external CROs? So how could you explain to the audience what's the difference that Provital can work with its own in vitro lab?
Yeah, that is a a big decision we had to make, and that's why we choose to have Julia's thesis focus on having these models internalized. So usually, companies outsource these models for external CROs, and that's fine. But the thing is that you cannot tweak, you cannot fine-tune anything. It is what it is, and it's fine.
Like
but
a
it is what it
standard
is.
product.
Yeah, it is good, but it is what it is. And now we may want to reduce the number of melanocytes, because if we have too many, we won't see a decrease for our whitening agent, or the other way around. We want to increase them. So we have the flexibility to adjust anything to our needs. It's the same. It is fine if you have your home renovated. You call out an external company to have your renovation. But imagine you have your internal, or you yourself know how to do anything about renovation. That would be way better. Yeah, I believe. So you can adjust anything to your needs, and that's a huge step we are making. And I believe that we did the right thing, because already we are having good results in projects that will be launched in the near future, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, this flexibility also allows you to be more innovative, maybe, and
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And any juicy information you can give us today about the newest, I don't know, the newest reconstructed skin improvements that you have achieved?
Yes, so basically, I think it was just 1 month ago, so it's a really latest news. We published a paper in GID Innovation about reconstructing human epidermis without products derived from animals. So it's a pretty huge step as well, and really innovative, because we basically now, when we reconstruct the human epidermis in our lab, we use some products derived from animals.
In our lab and in any lab? as
In
I
any
understand
lab.
it.
There's no alternative. As
There's
to
no
this.
alternative.
Exactly. So we published this paper, and we test some supplements to reconstruct the skin without any products from animals. And we have pretty interesting results. And I think really it's a huge step into innovation in reconstructed skin models. So we are pretty proud about it, because it's the first publication that we know about such kind of the reconstruction of the skin. So yes, this is kind of one thing. And also, I can't say too much, but we are also working on another reconstructed model, pigmented model, which is mimicking some inflammatory disease. And through this model, we are able to study some disorders in pigmentation, which are coming from the inflammation. And I can't say too much, but it's a pretty new thing that I think we have a pretty nice results.
A lot of secrets. So
Yeah.
I assume that you have a lot going on, that it will be like very interesting
it's
and,
very
and new.
Yeah,
So sounds promising for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Going back to what you were saying about your first publication, I think it's also very interesting, because the main concept of doing in vitro assays is avoiding to do it on animals or humans. So you are going to the next step, that even in the in vitro, you are not using any animal-derived products.
Yes, exactly. Because regarding the European law that in 2013 entered the ban, that cosmetic products and cosmetic ingredients are prohibited to be tested on the animals. So in our lab, we use the reconstructed human skin models, which are the cells are coming from the human. So these are human cells. So we don't use the animals in any step. But as Miguel said, we are looking for the alternatives. Yes, this our publication, that we don't use anything from the first step to the end, which is coming from the animals. It also helps us to be even more innovative. And yes, this is kind of also that the customers are looking for nowadays, that the products are, yes,
Yeah,
that
no, it's
not to be tested on animals in any way. So this, I think this is pretty interesting and also meets the needs of the customer, the clients,
Exactly.
and yes, so
it's an improvement for the whole industry. I'm
Yes.
just gonna say it's not just for us. It's a step that will mark history, like reconstructed skin models were in the time.
It's absolutely, without no doubt, I believe, a step forward.
Yeah.
And I wanted to highlight that everything that Julia was saying is an example of how Provital really invests and supports research. So in the R&D department, so In Vitro belongs to the R&D department, we believe the lab has to have two different and as important sites with two different speeds. So our most basic need, which has to be fulfilled, is to have the classic in vitro assays run in monolayer of cells and melanin measurement, MTT, ATP, etc.
Yeah.
That is one thing that has to work, and we have people working on it, and everybody is invested in that. But at the same time, if we also have a different speed with a different urgency, if we invest time and resources on developing new techniques, call it reconstructed, internalized, reconstructed skin models, bioinformatics, and many things, transcriptomics, many things, this kind of pulls up everything, and
Exactly.
everything works for the better. So that's very important thing I really like about R&D in Provital.
And well, also, I wanted to ask you, apart from the reconstructed skin per se, we have been seeing now that there are many tools, new tools appearing to visualize the skin, right? What technologies are there in the medical field in this regard, and what is Provital, and what is Provital doing to take advantage of these technologies for the cosmetic development?
Yeah, so these are shifting sands. It's kind of tricky to talk about it because we are always on the lookout for new techniques, but it's not always that new technique is something interesting.
Okay.
You have to be there because otherwise you will miss many things. But there are particularly for imaging techniques, we have now super resolution confocal microscopy and a combination of spatial transcriptomics, which combines transcriptomics with a spatial resolution in the microscope. These techniques that are very interesting, but for example, or high throughput microscopes. It's a lot of things that can add some interesting features. But for example, super resolution confocal microscopy or high throughput microscopy have been around for some years now, and I don't see any fuss about it. We are there, but we are not. With some products already have some. We've launched with these techniques, but there is not big, huge. So this is something you have to be careful about because you cannot miss it. That's what we call. It's better to have false positive than false negative. So you may miss a technique that ends up to be very successful in the cosmetic, and you are not there. So we prefer to be on the lookout for everything, and maybe we invest some resources in a technique that is not the big new thing, but we are in all of them. So that's kind of important. And another thing I wanted to say is that sometimes the innovation does not come from the new technique. For example, it's been here for decades, electron microscopy.
Okay.
And it's not new, but we're doing new things with it.
Like what?
Like something very new. and that explains the model of pigmentation disorders induced by an inflammatory pathology within the reconstructed skin model in Julia's thesis. We would love to talk about it, but we have our hands tied.
Another secret.
Okay,
Next
another
Provital.
secret. Bad again. No, but for the audience to understand a little bit, how are these tools used? What do you have any example of an ingredient or an active that has been already launched in which you used some of these techniques to test something innovative? You can think of something now?
For example, I was talking about high throughput microscope. That's the technique we use to measure apoptosis, and in an already launched product at Provital, which I don't recall right now. It's
Athiostem?
Athiostem, yeah, because it was like 6 years ago for me. So we work with it, and then sometimes I lose track, and I have to that one, Athiostem. So we demonstrated how it induced apoptosis selectively in senescent cells. That was the study. But it's easy to say that, but it's very difficult to pick the right condition, concentration, time point. So we use high throughput microscopy. That means that you test many conditions in one only experiment. And not only that, we made a video. So because of that, we were able to show specificity on Athiostem. Yeah.
Very interesting. And I see a relation on what you were explaining, that I think that also the final cosmetic brands, they face the same issues, that in the market there are a lot of trends, and they have to invest in the products to follow one trend or two trends, but they want to try to follow all of them, but it's impossible. One will succeed, others won't.
Yeah.
So, and then the old ones come back.
Exactly.
It's the same situation, but in another level.
That is, and it's not that you can test all of them. You have to have some criteria.
Exactly.
And maybe for transcriptomics, we really believe that was the way to go. For example, high throughput microscope. Yeah, we have to be there, but maybe don't put all the effort in this one only basket. And now also it's very important to talk to marketing and commercial to have the feedback from clients. And because we're testing that this goes in, then we go all in. Or no, we get back to what we were doing before.
Okay, so many things is that what do that criteria, what creates that criteria. Right?
Yeah. And that is not only for in vitro, that all R&D, I guess marketing has the same problem. Yeah, it's very dynamic field, I believe.
Yeah, and it's very difficult for you, no, to be that, because to be dynamic in marketing is one thing, but to be dynamic in science is very tricky.
The rhythm is not
is
the
different.
same.
Like you said, 6 years ago, you were testing what was launched
that is very
a year
important. Yeah, that is
now.
one thing we are proud of in the In Vitro Lab, is that we have to be not only on the lookout on new techniques, but also measuring the temperature of the cosmetic field. And I have a feeling that this may be important. Okay, I have 4 years to get that set up. So
wow,
and we have to. So you have to be smart about where you put your resources in.
Yeah, and I think it's also really nice because you don't get bored at the end, because you have to.
I see that.
It's really like you have to be on track, and you have to look all the new techniques and how you can implement it in our in vitro lab. And I think it's really pretty exciting. And I think if you have a passion for that, and if you are in a company that really supports the innovation and it's really in the core, it's really amazing to be able to do that as well and to apply it in our in vitro laboratory.
In fact, like I said before, Provital really, I think, makes R&D important. And from the in vitro perspective, the lab is growing in resources, including more people. So we are growing, which is
That's
which
good
is
news,
important.
because you have a lot of different projects. So I assume you need more hands.
Yes. It is important.
Okay, let's test your criteria for the future. let's see, what would you say are the technologies or the new advances that will evolve the most, or that will be more important for cosmetics for the future in cosmetics?
I mean, the multi-omics is something that we are already seeing, and I think cosmetic companies will start to run routinely RNA-seq, because maybe not promoting it like marketing products, but definitely something that is gonna be there. Maybe that is from the technology, and molecular mechanisms. I believe calorie restriction is something, because you can see all this fuss about insulin drugs made up to reduce obesity, and that is one thing. That is something we're not interested in, but the pathway may be something to take into account, and that people will start seeing something. Retinol like products, because retinol is having some bands about its concentration, so we may see something about retinol similars like Bakuchiol, and yeah.
I also think that as I'm more into really into the reconstructed skin models, I think that in the next years we will see how the models are changing, and they are composed of more cell types, because this way we can see that the model can be more complex and even better mimic the human skin, and it also will help us to better study the interaction between various cell types and how the active ingredients affect and work with not just keratinocytes or melanocytes, but in the future I think we will have the even more complex skin models, and yes, for sure we will also develop this in our laboratory. So
So one day we will have the fat tissue even in the laboratory, right?
There's also one of these models that you've been working on that I think we haven't mentioned, and it's the one that also had the stretch marks. So can you explain a little bit how was that able to be done in the lab?
So basically there was a model that consisted with the fibroblasts derived from the stretch marks. And it was the first model. We created a full thickness model with the fibroblasts derived from the stretch marks and with the keratinocytes. So as we mentioned, it was the full thickness model, and this is the first model worldwide that combines with that types of fibroblasts, and also allows us to study the effects and the pathology behind the stretch marks, and also to test the ingredients, how they affect and how they work with that types of this pathology.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was also published. We published a paper. Miguel published. It was author the paper. So maybe Miguel wants to mention a little bit more about this model.
Well, it was a model we set up for a specific product, Striover.
Striover.
And but we were able to actually, as Julia said, develop a new model. In fact, it was not only that we added fibroblasts derived from stretch mark, but that we actually saw some mechanisms. It is published, so I could talk freely about it. And we found actually that if you take keratinocytes, the same keratinocytes, not healthy keratinocytes, the same keratinocytes, and you put fibroblasts from one person from a healthy skin, and you took fibroblasts from the same person, everything is the same. The only thing different is that one is from the stretch mark and the other was from the adjacent healthy skin. Anything is the same. And you build your full thickness reconstructed skin models. You see differences in the keratinocytes. Not in the fibroblasts, which are different, but this difference is somehow transmitted to the upper layer. Yeah, and that was a new molecular mechanisms that nobody had previously found for the pathology of stretch mark, which again is that not only we think in our actives, of course we think in our actives, but we innovate so we can speak about different things from
Exactly.
our actives. Yeah,
From our actives and from what we know about skin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
What-
I believe we like to think it goes hand to hand.
Yeah.
No, definitely. This interview with you is like a summary of what these advancements in vitro mean. And for what you say is not only the ethical part, right? The fact that we don't use any part of animal testing anymore, but also the innovation that this transfers into, right?
Yeah.
Or can transfer into. Yeah.
Well, I think that's all for today, but I think that you will have to come back because you have a lot of projects going on,
Yes.
and I'm sure that maybe, I don't know, in a few months, we can learn about those.
Definitely.
Do you agree?
I'm super excited about this, super thrilled, but nothing.
Yeah, for us, for sure, it will be a pleasure to talk a little bit. But yeah, for now, we have to hide a little bit. So,
But we've been lucky enough to have the publication of this last publication that you did.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We'll take that.
We are really looking forward to explain these things, but
You have to be careful
Yeah.
and wait.
yeah.
We understand. So, well, guys, thank you very much for this time and for being here with us. I hope you had a great time, but we are not finished yet. We have a last part, right?
Yes, we have just a quick fire questions that you're gonna have to answer quickly. Okay, whatever comes to your mind, you say it. Okay.
okay.
So first question.
Okay, we would like to know which is your favorite active from Provital and why.
Yeah, so maybe for me, it's a striover. Like, I have to say that Provital has a lot of amazing ingredients, and it's really hard to choose. But for me, because of my
Makes sense.
thesis, and it's striover that helps to reduce the stretch marks. And because just of the scientific point of view and using the reconstructed skin models in that model, we can see how really the active function, and we can visualize it in our reconstructed skin model. But I have to say that I just pick it because of my thesis and my interest, but we have
That was
many
easy.
of, yeah.
And for you?
Yeah, it's hard to choose, but I believe I have to say Scalp Up because it was the very first one we applied whole transcriptomic analysis, and it was a journey for everybody, and it was a good end-up product. Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Very
wasn't
proud.
launched too long ago. It feels like okay.
Yeah, but the analysis was maybe some time ago.
True.
You could say any active because you have worked in all of them, so
Yeah. That, it is difficult to choose. Yeah, but that has a little space in my heart.
okay.
Okay, second question. I think it will be easier for Julia because she said that she's passionate about cosmetics as well.
Yeah.
So what was the last product, the last cosmetic final product that you bought?
Yeah, the last one, usually when I buy few, but the last one, I bought the body cream and the face cream. These two, the last one, what I bought. I can't mention the brand, but yeah, these are.
Yeah, I was going to mention the brand.
Yeah, no, you can mention it. Don't worry.
No, I just bought yesterday a aftershave from a brand I will not say.
But does it have any specific benefit to it or aftershave?
I
simple?
just like the smell. I mean, yeah,
That's
that
very
was it.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important.
Okay, so continuing with final products, what features do you look for when you go to buy the cosmetics?
So I especially pay attention on the ingredients. I really look. I'm not an expert in the ingredients, but I do have some knowledge. So this is what I look for. I look for a lot of extracts, natural extract. I really like it in cosmetic products. As well, I like the fragrance. It's kind of important for me when I buy some products, and as well the information that the brand transmits. It's behind all the claims. It's kind of also important for me.
So you look for very scientific claims?
Exactly. Scientific claims are really important for me because as working in cosmetic and science, I know that it is really important. When the brand mentioned that it was scientifically proven, the effects, it's really important for me.
Yeah, I was going to say something similar, that it is pretty difficult for me that I take one cosmetic product and I see the marketing and I say, okay, let's see what's behind
Test
it.
that.
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah,
Let's do an
that's-
audit.
That's I can help it.
Almost.
I just can help it.
Okay. And have you ever looked for the tests like somewhere, or have you double checked if the tests
Ever?
were?
No, every day.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a whole study before buying anything. I guess.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
our job, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it.
Yeah.
You're used to it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is, you just have to complete the sentence. The best thing about the cosmetics industry is.
How it grows and how it grows and how it's also put a lot of effort into innovation. And this is sometimes it can be challenging as well because you have to look all the news and everything, but it's pretty, and as I mentioned before, it's really hard to get bored because you have to really pay attention to all the news, and it's pretty amazing. And I think it's also, from the other hand, I think it's really nice because somehow you improve people's lives. Like you make them happy, kind of, when they can apply a good product, or makeup or something. Kind of you participate in this happiness of people. Yeah. This is my feeling, what I have.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I believe the thing I like the best is that it is a field very fast-paced, and so you have to change subjects every other month. Have to do it so interesting, okay, but you have to change because you don't get bored actually.
And then, what would you say that is the worst part of the cosmetics industry?
The worst part, it's for me. I would say that some brands, they really put some expectation towards people that are really hard to meet. I mean, sometimes in a skincare or advertisement, that they show things that are really hard to meet for some normal people, for the people. The beauty standards.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what I meant.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, the worst thing, I believe, is the flip side of the best thing. It is, again, very fast-paced. So you see something interesting, you would like to get deeper into it, but you have to change. So you have style somehow.
Yeah, it's a bit stressful, right?
Yes, yeah. You have to change gears and go fast, like most of the days. Yeah.
That's the bad part about being so innovative and fast-paced. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. And last question. Is there someone that you would like to see in Provitalks?
Yeah, I would like to see someone maybe from, as we have some international subsidiaries, maybe someone from can show us the point of view from the other country. Yeah, like some sales manager from the other country. I think
Poland,
from Poland, maybe. Yeah.
Of course, we would love to have them.
Yeah,
for
I think
sure.
it will be quite interesting to see how the other markets, also the needs of the other markets, because the needs of the customers are different in different parts of the world. So I think it could be interesting.
So for me, I mean, from our perspective within the lab, I find it amazing if we can have somebody from marketing who can explain us how to translate this scientific stuff within a product to the market, because I really find it difficult. I wouldn't know how to do it. I find it very difficult.
Me too.
Well, we have
Thank
here
you,
an
thank you,
expert.
No,
Maybe one day you can sit there.
Yes, of course. We would I think it's a great idea to have that,
Yes,
the journey
that would be
also of
nice.
how we translate
Yeah, that would be nice.
that science into something beautiful for our clients and for the
Yeah.
different countries.
For sure.
For sure.
Well, guys, now we have reached the end.
No more questions?
Again, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you had a great time with us.
Yes.
But yeah, really.
Yes. Thank you for having us. It's been
Yeah.
a pleasure.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure that your answers will have provided like very and highly valuable information and teasers for our audience too, who I am sure you will have learned something new about this science behind cosmetic innovation. So thank you for being listening to us, and goodbye.
Also, remember, always follow us on all social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you have all the episodes available on Spotify. See you.
Goodbye.
Thank you for watching and listening to Provitalks. We hope you got some source of inspiration to create your own kind of beauty. If you don't want to miss our next expert interview, subscribe to our channel and don't hesitate to contact us at weareprovital.com. Provital. Do care.